Hello and welcome back to the Wii U 5. Yeah, I know, you're all hyped up from the Splatoon Direct this morning, but I recorded this before this morning, so I'm assuming it was awesome. I mean, was it? Yeah, this morning's Direct was amazing! Alright, so now that the dust has settled around Nintendo's next system, the NX, it's my turn to talk about it. As we all know, Nintendo has officially announced that they're working on their next system. But first, let me make something clear. The 3DS came out before the Wii U, which means that 3DS is due for replacement first. This should hint that the next system will, in all likelihood, involve portability. Having said that, there are plenty of rumors that it's going to be a hybrid system, so I'd like to show you a post I made to Miiverse in 2013. Who was one of the first people talking about hybrids? This guy. So let's talk about what it could be. Here's my first model concept. Much like my Miiverse post, all the hardware is now in the gamepad, and it streams to a base at home for TV play. This means you can play on the go, and then once you get home, you can still get your home console experience. Sounds nifty, but there are some drawbacks here. Power is limited by the form factor. There's a good chance it wouldn't be any more powerful than the Wii U because now all the hardware is packed into this small gamepad. Additionally, the battery is now powering an entire home console's worth of hardware specs, which means battery life could be an issue as well. I honestly find this concept to be the least likely because of the drawbacks. And if there is no power increase above the Wii U, gamers are going to throw a fit, and Nintendo will just get laughed at 6 ways from Sunday. My second concept is a little more likely, and quite frankly, possible. Instead, it's still a full home console base, with an obvious increase in hardware specs that brings it in line with, or at least between, the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. However, the gamepad simply has mildly upgraded hardware and a small amount of onboard memory. This would then allow full games from the home console to load a mini-game onto the gamepad that you can take with you on the go. This way you can, say, feed your pet and play with it while on breaks at work. Then, once you come home, you can offload this data back to the full game. There's one major hurdle with what I just described though, and that's cost. This would be a very expensive system because now you have a low-power CPU and GPU in the gamepad, and then a much more powerful CPU and GPU in the home console. 2 full sets of hardware have never been done before, and even if one set is far less powerful and only plays mini-games, one only needs to look at the 2DS to realize it's still not cheap. And this is Nintendo we're talking about here. They don't historically go all out on hardware prices. The gamepad as it is now has its own small processor and onboard memory. These serve to process and display the feed, as well as handle firmware level functions like the TV remote and the newly implemented shortcut menu. And yet, it's still a major cost factor of the Wii U. Imagine if it had 2DS hardware in it. Additionally, it seems they spent a lot of extra money making sure that you could use this as a backup maraca. Lastly, and most important to talk about, is the ideal launch year. There are a couple of factors here. So far we've been assuming that it would be a hybrid system, thus replacing the Wii U and 3DS in one fell swoop. We don't know this to be the case, and it may indeed just be a handheld replacement for the 3DS, which launched in 2011, 5 years later being 2016. On the flip side, if it is a hybrid console that does replace the Wii U, I'd have a problem with it releasing in 2016 because that gives the Wii U a mere 4-year support life. I see that damaging a lot of the faith in Nintendo fans who invested in the Wii U. If the hybrid comes out in 2017 though, I'd be okay with that because that means the Wii U got a 5-year support life, which was pretty standard up until last generation when the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were designed with hardware that cost the respective companies billions of dollars during the launch periods. Naturally, this requires a longer support life in order to recoup as much of the losses as possible. At any rate, the point here is that the damage to the Nintendo faithful far outweighs the potential 2016 software drought by releasing a Wii U replacement in 2017. Of course, what truly matters is that nothing I've said even matters because we know jack about the new system. All we know for sure is that it's going to integrate with mobile apps. But if you made it this far, let me give you some food for thought. If the next system is indeed a single system that's a hybrid, there is one thing and one thing only that may forever alter Nintendo's fortunes. You now have the entirety of Nintendo's library of handheld and home console games piled into a single system. That's it for today. Subscribe for more Wii U content delivered directly to your retinas. I'll see you next time on the Wii U 5.